All right, let's see. Is this good? Can y'all hear me? Is this... Yeah, for some reason, the other mic was just having a lot. I think it's the connection with the boom arm. Okay. Let me get this going here. Sawdust all over my phone screen. You got 50 likes. Oh, that's sick, dude. Gotta get the stream up, though. My channel. There it is. Okay. All right, perfect. So sound check is good. We're going to wait for some more people to get in here. And I'm going to try to stay right in frame. Even though my neck is killing me from training, I can't move my neck at all. I'm not joking when I say my neck is severely impaired. It's like I got 1 degree of rotation I could do on either side. Like, this is pretty much it. Anything more than that, and my goose is cooked. Here comes Pups. Unpoppable Balloons is in the chat. The day one. Balloons. I was able to appeal the heinous hate crime that was committed against the channel when they tried to erroneously take us down on a copyright claim. But we beat the system. We beat the case. I argued to the YouTube gods that it was fair use since I was adding a lot to the videos I was watching. I don't think that's an unfair statement. And they didn't either. So they were like, we're sorry, dude. You're the best channel on here. And I was like, yeah. No, I just, I don't think, it's not live anymore, but I tried to edit out the first 5 minutes where I had to take a call. And I tried re-uploading. Sorry about that loud noise. I tried re-uploading it, and they tried jamming it up, but we got it, unless we got it sorted. We do have a lot of content and drama to get to today because the influencer boxing gods have blessed us with not only the Wade concept beef, but I think 30 minutes before starting this stream, KSI announced his opponent. What was it for May 15th? Is it? I think so. Here I am. We talked last stream about how unprofessional it is to mess up dates, and here I am messing up a date. Let me see. KSI next fight. I think it is the 15th of May. It's definitely going to be Joe Fournier. May 13th. May 13th. Another KO coming against Joe Fournier. I think so. I've already done a video on this, and I'm sure the two people that are diehards in this chat have seen that video already. Why I think that Joe Fournier is going to make a really good opponent for KSI in terms of KSI knocking someone else out and making it box office, because Fournier is kind of that, unfortunately, that prototypical guy that faces a lot of YouTube boxers when they decide to meet the crossover, where he's not very mobile. He doesn't do a lot of spectacular things. He's kind of just, unfortunately, average everywhere, and he has a limited arsenal to pull from, you know? Every single video I've seen of him. And you know what? I will say this. I said that about Tommy Fury, and I was wrong. So I could always be wrong. I could always be wrong about this. I thought that Tommy Fury wasn't going to be immobile enough to take Jake, but he proved me wrong, and he outboxed Jake. But I just think, and we're talking about, for all the people that just joined, we're talking about KSI versus Joe Fournier. We're also going to address the Wade concept beef. I just think from what I've seen, and now I'm hesitant. See, I don't know, since the other stream got taken down, I don't know if we can review Joe Fournier. I'm Jewish, so I could say that. Joe Fournier training footage. Let's see. Maybe I can find it somewhere else on Twitter. But I just don't want to test it with YouTube again, even though we did get it appealed. I'd like to keep a full stream going here and not have it abruptly just end like it did the last time, because we were watching a Misfits fight. KSI's relation with the term pro boxer is annoying. Yeah, man, he's kind of, it's funny because he's going through the same thing that Jake did, and Jake is still going through, where it's like everyone just wants to see him box a pro fighter, which to me doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Sorry, my dog's going crazy in the background. There must be like a UPS truck or something going on there. When it's a video, I can edit it out, but not now. Maybe I'll bring him in at some point on the stream. He's an absolute cutie. But yeah, I think he is going through that same thing, unfortunately, that Jake goes through, where it's like you kind of have to. It's a theme. It's a theme in the influencer boxing community right now. You have to be very careful about the people that you get to go up against each other, and if you're one of the athletes, the people you go up against. So you're not going to see. And I'm editing a video today that should go out tomorrow, where I talk a little bit more about it, where Jarvis seems to think that he wants to fight KSI, or he will fight KSI. Of course, granted, once he wins the Kingpin tournament. I made the point there that right now you have what? I feel like it's a safe assumption or a safe take to say that I could count on my hand the number of really reputable personalities in the space. So like, you could say Slim, Salt Poppy, let's see. King Kenny, I don't know. Is he like at the top box office level? You know, Logan. So Logan, Salt Poppy, Slim, KSI, Jake. That's 5 right there. Deji, that's 6. You could count. I'm trying to really think who's at that superstar level. But then you have the guys. I'll put Slim in a category under that. Slim, King Kenny. Here's the dog now. Hi, puppy. Slim, King Kenny. All those guys that I believe are just like a kind of a touch below or a tier below. And all those guys, there's so few of them that you really can't risk it right now. You kind of have to find mid-tier. Again, I know Jarvis has a large audience, but I'm not tuning into a fight off the strength of Jarvis. So I feel like you'd have to use a Jarvis to kind of bolster either Jarvis's career with him fighting one of those guys that's in the upper echelons, like a Slim, like a KSI, or like a, and that's how you would build the scene. But right now, it's just tough, man. And you're not going to find a lot of pro guys that are willing, unless they really want, I feel like, a payday to fight these guys. Because you think about it for the pros, right? The only real reward on the line is money. Let's just say you beat a YouTuber. It's like, okay, yeah, you beat a YouTuber. Nobody's really expecting you. Like when Tommy Fury won, it was like, okay, yeah, of course, because Jake's not a real boxer. And what else? I'm trying to think of another example. I mean, Tyron Woodley just got embarrassed. That shows the other side, the other half of it, right? Where it's like if you lose to one of these guys, then you're a mockery. Or like Ben Askren, even though he had a billion different things wrong coming into that fight with him. He had just gotten hip surgery. He was old. You see what I'm trying to say? There's a stigma around it still, and I just don't think you're going to find a lot of pro guys that are willing to stake their careers on that. Especially not young guys, but it would have to be an absurd amount of money. That's why I feel like that's why Mayweather is so okay with doing this, because he likes the money, right? He's done a bunch of exhibitions, and he knows it's really. I feel like he feels, and he knows, and I feel like a lot of people, at least I feel like this, is that it's not really going to affect his legacy in a big way if he does end up losing. So that's kind of the tough predicament we find ourselves in with this scene. I honestly think, and I said this in the Sneeko video, I think if Sneeko wanted to box, he's only hit pads. It's the only thing I've seen from him. But if he wanted to try to box, he could be a real big draw right now. Mayweather can't even sell 100K anymore. Yeah, well, I mean, like that's why he's doing the exhibitions, because he should be retired. I have a conspiracy theory that I think Mayweather is a shopaholic of sorts, and he's constantly running through money, and that's why he takes all these stupid fights, you know. Not to diss our influencer boys, but if Floyd Mayweather, arguably one of the greatest boxers of all time, has to fight YouTubers, again, he's not really challenging. It's like we saw the sparring session with Jarvis, and while Jarvis did have his moments, it's Floyd Mayweather we're talking about, realistically. You guys know what I'm trying to say? That make any sense? So, yeah, that's the tough part. And Mayweather is of an older generation of guys. So you're going to, I mean, it'd have to be crossover athletes. Like, that's why I'm happy that JMX is going up against Le'Veon Bell. You know, that's going to be a fun one. I'm happy that, I'm trying to think of other guys, like Mike Perry would be a really good way to build a scene, but I think he's not in BKFC. He fought in BKFC. He fought, who was it? MVP, Michael Venom Page. So guys like that, are not totally prominent in the, they don't have a big legacy in the combat sports world, and they're still young, I think would be the perfect striking point for what we're talking about here. But Joe Fournier, I mean, he's a pro boxer, but dude, I wish I could. I'll try to find some of it. Just getting back to the topic at hand. I'll try to find some of Joe Fournier's stuff. And he got waxed by David Haye, who came out of retirement and absolutely made him look silly. So let me see if I can find something from Joe Fournier that's not on YouTube. Isn't he a businessman as well? He's 9-0 with 9 KOs. Okay, light heavy. He's a light heavyweight. Let's see. 6 foot, orthodox. God, my neck is on fire right now. I was sparring with a dude yesterday, and I went in for a takedown, and today I just woke up. The entirety of my back right here is just fried. I can't really look to the side that much. That's why I look probably like I'm tensing and all nervous. Total fights 10, no contest 1. What was the cost? What was the cause of? I think I remember this. I remember reading about this. He had a loss to David Haye, so he's not even undefeated. And that was on the Triller Fight Club, Oscar De La Hoya versus Vitor Belfort, which is crazy. He had 1 no contest in there, but it doesn't say why. But yeah, Joe Fournier is a pro in the same way that, I don't know. I don't even know if I could necessarily find like a comparable. That's the interesting thing too about combat sports, boxing, MMA, and all that stuff is you can, if you work hard enough, you can. It's not like the NBA, right, where the pro organization, there's only one, right, and it's like, well, there's more overseas, but you can't really. The accessibility in MMA is what I'm trying to say is so much more. You work your ass off, you can make it to the pros. There's certain regional promotions that you can go pro on. Like I've commentated over pro fighters, and it was on the same card as an amateur card. So like, for instance, and I've just been doing commentary for a year now, maybe. Worked about 3-4 events. So, I mean, it's not the hardest thing in the world to become pro in this sport. And I don't like Joe Fournier. He's not the same pro as a even a low tier WBC boxer. I'm sorry to say, because we saw what happened when he went up against a 40-year-old David Haye. He got smoked. He got absolutely smoked. So why is this guy going in there with KSI? I have no idea. I hate this thing where we put the optic of a boxer in there with a YouTuber, and that's supposed to be like, oh, yeah, this is going to make for a great fight with Jake. It's like, oh, okay. Really? Last I checked, dude, Joe Fournier is not comp in the same way. Joe Fournier might not even get... All right, you know what? I'm hating now. I'm hating. Let me not say that. Because I don't ever want to spread negativity on this channel. I don't. I honestly don't. But it's a thin line between giving my objective opinion and hating. Sip my coffee. I think that Joe Fournier, what's your early prediction for the fight? I think KSI knocks him out. I just think with the lack of movement, he's going to be an easy stationary target for KSI. And I know it sounds like I'm hating on the guy. I have nothing against Joe Fournier, but this is my honest interpretation. He's 38 years old. Well, he was 38 when he fought David Haye, and I'm not even sure how long ago that was. Let me see. When did Joe Fournier fight? I should probably show my screen to you guys, right? Looks better. Give me a second. Let me clear off some tabby wabbies. All right. Uno momento, guys, por favor. Okay. All right. He's got 10 bouts. And where did he fight? It doesn't even show his loss. See, this is the box rec. the BoxRec page isn't even accurate. BoxRec page doesn't even show his fight against, I don't know, was it a professionally sanctioned fight? No contest, all wins, but he had a loss. So did they not count that loss? What is BoxRec doing? Usually BoxRec is a really good, I use that for my videos most of the time. Maybe they just didn't, it might not have been registered as a pro fight. Excuse me, as an exhibition. MarshallBot has it. So he's now 40 years old. So he's going in there. He's not as mobile as KSI. He's not nearly as young as KSI. Take a look at the height and reach. He's 6 foot. His reach is 193. I could check KSI's reach now. That was an exhibition. Okay, so that makes sense why they wouldn't put it up there. KSI reach. 73 or 71.3 inches. Is that? Look at that man, KSI right there. So KSI is 21 or 29. It's got a 71.3 inch reach, where that's at 181 centimeters. And what is Joe Fournier looking like? Reach 193. So he has the reach advantage. He has a slight reach advantage. But I just think that if you look at the hard facts of this fight, I think Fournier's kind of being set up. And we have a word for this in the combat sports world, at least at the amateur level. Like, maybe I shouldn't say. My boss might be angry with me. But there are sometimes, some cases, well, it wasn't his fault, but there are sometimes guys will be put in there for the buildup of another fighter, like a tomato can. Okay? And it's to make the other fighter look really good, or if there's a situation in which a fighter needs to absolutely smoke someone to enter into a tournament or go pro, like you need a certain amount of fights to go pro, and the guy has already exhibited some skill, they'll throw him just some absolute stinker, and then he'll absolutely demolish the guy, and then gets to go pro after that. So I do think that this is one of those situations where he has been used as cannon fodder for KSI's career to be able to say, okay, yeah, well, I've taken out a pro guy now. He's fought David Haye. And a lot of fans are going to be like, oh, cool, all right, yeah, so he's a pro boxer. And they're not going to look into the finite details of his record. Or maybe they will. I know a lot of people now in this community, and I'll say this, are very good at doing their due diligence. But certainly you guys in the chat are. So I'd have to assume that everyone else that's fans of the cultured gentlemen like Wade and all these guys that are doing breakdowns, you guys do your homework as well. But I don't know if the average KSI fan or the average Jake fan, they're going to be doing their homework in a big way. And I think that this is just one of those things where it's like, okay, yeah, just set him up there. JJ knocks him out. And the other guy gets a participation trophy, a whole lot of money. You know, because Fournier doesn't have to worry about his professional legacy being put on the line here. He's already 40 years old. He's already 40 years old. He's only 9-0. He has business outside of the ring. He's a businessman. So, just makes sense, man. Take it for the money. Do your thing. I hope I make sense when I say that. That's why I think that it's going to probably be a steamroll for JJ. If Temper, who I do believe is more talented, can't, you know what I'm saying, couldn't get to, then what hope just for it? By the way, Temper, who's younger and more mobile, longer. Actually, is Temper longer? Let me see. Let me see if he has a better reach. I know, because Temper's a long dude. Phase Temper. Yeah, he's 6'2", 188 centimeter reach. So he's functionally longer than Fournier, and KSI was still able to get to him. I do not have high hopes for Joe Fournier in this match. And I feel bad that, I mean, he's going to get paid, so it's not I'm sure he is absolutely fine with this, but it's almost a little bit alarming for JJ because, A, if you're knocking guys out at the clip that he is, you're not going to learn as much as a guy like Jake that's been through a ton of fights and has kind of had to, like the Anderson Silva fight, he had to thug it out. The Tommy Fury fight he lost, but he was in there. He was hanging in there. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's a completely different thing to where JJ is experiencing, I don't want to say boxing on easy mode, but he's not gotten the same level of experience or the same level. He's not had to go through that same fire that Jake has. And this Fournier guy doesn't really do anything for JJ's legacy. You know, maybe optically, maybe on the surface, but for anyone that does half a minute of research, you'd find that it's not actually substantive. You know? So yeah, I got probably JJ getting Joe Fournier out of there early, honestly. Starching him. Just like he did FaZe Temper. That was a crazy ass knockout. Tell you what. And JJ's talented. I guess we could, you want it with that? You want to go to the Wade concept drama? Pull up the tweets. I mean, if you guys already seen the tweets, I'm sure I don't need to refresh your memory. But overreaction, huh? Just a blatant. Is this coming through on the? No, the desktop audio. Okay. Yeah, but just a blatant overreaction. KSI and Mams Taylor. To an opinion that Wade stated. Now, KSI came out after the fact, and said that there was some stuff boiling under the surface as well. And let's see if he didn't delete those tweets. But I could show you what, not the actual conversations behind the scenes, but the clarification he offered. This you. To you, it's an overreaction, but to me, all right, I'm going to put this up on the screen. So you know we can't get kicked off of YouTube for this. To you, it's an overreaction, but to me, it's a buildup of a lot of things behind the scenes. You can have a public opinion, but don't come to me on a switch up when you see me in person. Sorry for my outburst, but I'm human. I'm going to get angry sometimes. I just think I wouldn't watch it on stream. I wouldn't watch it on stream either. I think, see, with this whole Wade situation, it's tough because I think Wade is a genuine dude that I'd say goes against the opposite of what JJ's saying, where he doesn't switch up. If he had switched up, he would have just gone on with whatever JJ says. So, you know, it would have been like, oh, yeah, you know. And honestly, I also personally disagree. I think a JJ and Jake fight would, if properly built up, would shatter some records for the influencer boxing scene. So I don't necessarily know that a Jake versus Mayweather fight would just because of you think about like the casual fans that aren't as entrenched in the boxing world, they'd probably tune in to see Jake versus, it's one of those things with like the UFC and Conor, you know, like sure, Mayweather's one of the greats, but you're not accounting when you take in, and I didn't watch Wade's full video on this, so maybe he addresses this and counters it, but I just feel like that Jake and KSI fight would get so many more wide fans out there to come in and watch it. I just think that would be an absolute mega fight. It's been building for a while. I think he said a Tommy rematch would do better. I personally don't think so. He said a fight with Mayweather would do better. Maybe. But Jake is, you know, I don't know, man. I just think that Jake KSI would be the fight to make. Not right now, but some point down the line. But that's kind of where this is all headed. That's where I get the feeling that this is all going. And this is what the fans have wanted to see for a while. But for KSI to come out and to absolutely, and there's, I think he didn't delete. He's officially ducking me. Let's do it. Another Arsenal victory. Cardboard this time. I guess, did he delete the Sneeko? All right, so I guess he took out the. This is also the schedule. We could go over that in a second. The schedule for who he's fighting this year. But to overreact like that on an opinion is quite frankly silly. And we don't know what Wade has said to him in private, but Wade doesn't seem like the guy. Like, you know, there's a difference between being real with people and being combative. I think what KSI expects from Wade is if Wade has a difference of opinion with him, to come up and to be extremely kind of like, you know, like Wade just seems like a good dude. I don't think Wade's hurting anyone's feelings. Wade's not trying to start beefs. He's just talking about the sport he's passionate about. And I put myself in his situation if I had his platform. Zane, what do you think of KSI versus Joe? We actually just reviewed it. I think Joe is, unfortunately, a lamb being led to slaughter. in that situation where he's just a touch behind. He's a little bit too slow. He's 40 years old. I think it's going to be brought in there. Search side. He explains a bit more. Side. Okay. Side. Twitter. Oh, actually, no. Wade. Ah. Okay, so we'll watch this in a second. Is this what you were talking about? Yeah. No, so within Joe Fournier, I think Joe Fournier is just being led to get his cheeks clapped, unfortunately, by KSI, to make KSI look, or to make it a much more kind of, and again, that's what we were talking about, to build up to the fight that he's having here with Jake, to make it a little bit more marketable. But what was I saying? Oh, right. I put myself in Wade's shoes, and I just feel as though, it is one of those things, because I'll think about the work that I do with my local promotion. I'll talk about the fighters on commentary. And if they're doing a certain thing incorrectly, or I notice that, for instance, I've had fighters come up to me and say, give me a little bit more love about this, give me a little bit more love about that. And I'll always go back and look at what I've said. So, for instance, one dude wasn't checking leg kicks. And I said over the course of the fight, he wasn't checking leg kicks. And most guys would come up to me and say, oh, yeah, I thank you for your commentary on the fight. It was good, and I'll definitely be doing that next time. Some of the guys will say, oh, yeah, like, what are you saying about that? But it's kind of, I'm trying to think of a way to describe this. I don't go up to those fighters and be an asshole. I'll just be real with them. I'll say, listen, that's what I saw in the fight. I don't think you're a bad fighter, but that's just that's my observation. That's my opinion on the fight. That's why I get paid to commentate. That's why I get paid to talk about it. Wade was doing the same thing. And so I don't understand why KSI got so angry. He said it was a build-up. Again, we don't know what happened behind the scenes. I guess this video will illustrate a little bit more. I have to grab my headphones here so we could check this out. But I did feel as though it was a huge overreaction by both KSI and Mams Taylor. And it was a kind of a bad look for the entire Misfits boxing scene, because Wade is a loved figure. Wade is the dude. This is the first real drama I've seen him kind of get into. If I'm remembering correctly, I mean, maybe there was something else, and it wasn't even something he had, My point is, he's not coming out and shitting on fighters, and I don't think anyone should ever shit on fighters when they're making commentary on the scene. But the overreaction was just off the roof. But let me just hold on. Let me put these on. Zane, was this the this is the video you're talking about, right? If it's not, we'll just rip it anyways. All right. So here's KSI on the situation with Wade.
I'm allowed to not like his opinion.
Disagree with.
Hold on one second. That's way too loud. Jesus Christ.
I'm allowed to not like his opinion.
To disagree with his opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So with his opinion on the tag team.
Stop flinging your hand at me.
Sorry. So the reason why I was like he's two-faced is because behind the scenes he's there like, this tag team idea, brilliant, I love it. And then online he's there like, not sure about this. Don't think this is a good idea. I'm like, bro, you one minute you're saying you like it to me in private, and publicly you're saying what the public want to hear. So with Wade, he just wants to constantly
be on everyone's good side, as a journalist would.
Yeah, he's got to play the game. That is his job role, and his whole thing.
But I guess obviously that's going to rub me the wrong way.
Of course, but the public don't have that full story.
I'm allowed to.
Okay, see, I don't think that's a really viable reason or an excuse to blow up in the fashion that KSI did. Doesn't make Wade a two-faced I can't say that, or else I'm gonna get nuked off of this platform. I don't think that makes Wade two-faced. Yeah, is it a little bit odd? If he did do that, we're just gonna take KSI at face value. Is it a little bit odd? Is it a little bit slimy? I guess, right? I thought that Misfits it was a multifaceted idea. So I said this on video. I thought it was cool that they're experimenting with new things, but I thought that it didn't really add a whole ton of content to the Misfits boxing scene, and let me know if you guys disagree in the comments. But I thought that it kind of just, it was an addition to add to that kind of circus aspect of influencer boxing. Besides that, though, there was not a real impact that you could have by saying, okay, these guys, your two favorite influencers, are going on in the tag team. Not only that, but all Wade said in public was the tag team was a safety hazard and needed to see how it goes. Right, and that's what I'm trying to say, Balloons, is it seems like Wade was more so in favor of the idea, but there are some, like, you can have a multifaceted opinion. I think the one beneath that is a bit longer. Let me see. 45 seconds, minute 5. All right, we can go over that in a second. Sorry about that, boys. Ladies and gentlemen, if there are any ladies in the chat here. But I do think that it was a gross overreaction by KSI. Gross. And we'll watch this in a second. But Wade has been consistently, and I've watched his stuff, obviously, people that have heard me talk, like, they know, he's a big inspiration for me, and just how he does things and how he edits his video. I don't know if he probably does have an editor, but yeah, just the way that he consistently holds himself to a standard is very nice to see. And so I find it very hard to believe that it's that cut and dry, that it's that black and white, where Wade would say one thing like that and then come at, I'm sure it was a different variation where Wade came to KSI and said, I love that you're innovating like this. I love that you're trying to push the scene forward. And KSI took it as him saying he loved the idea, right? Two things can be true at once. And I tend to agree with Wade. I thought it could have its issues, but the idea is there, right? The idea for innovation is what I enjoyed personally about it. But let's get into this next video. Successful stream so far, boys. Hopefully the YouTube police don't get to us again. Okay, here we go.
Wade is obviously allowed to have his opinion on anything.
All right, we gotta...
It's a free society. You can say whatever you want, do whatever you want. That's cool. But I'm okay. I'm allowed to hate on it as well. Like, I'm allowed to not like his opinion.
To disagree with his opinion.
Yeah. So with his opinion on the tag team,
stop flinging your hand at me.
Sorry.
Oh, okay.
You like it to me in private, and publicly you're saying what the public want to hear. So with Wade, he just wants to constantly
be on everyone's good side, as a journalist would.
Yeah, he's got to play the game. That is his job role, and his whole thing.
But I guess obviously that's going to rub me the wrong way.
Of course, but the public don't have that full story, so they're seeing him put out this little clip, and then they're seeing you bug out over this little clip, and they're thinking this is a massive overreaction.
I did bug out, and I do apologize. That was bad.
It could have been simple, like fuck this guy. You was like, fuck your character.
You could have bugged out to him directly, and been like, I don't agree with this.
I don't rate this.
Yeah.
And the whole world didn't have to see it. And
that's why I tried to delete that, and I've messaged Wade, and I've said, I'm sorry. I can actually.
You said,
I'll say exactly what I said.
I think what you've done is arse. Yeah. And then just say that privately. Say, I think what you've done is arse, man.
So I've told the man about him on firing you. I think that was a bit far. My outburst was uncalled for, so my bad. I'm sorry for the tweets. However, I just don't feel comfortable talking to you, fam. We can be civil publicly, but your comments just rub me the wrong way, just like Kavos does or other people. You can have your opinions, go crazy, but it don't mean I have to like them.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Yeah, of course.
That's fine.
I don't know, dude. I mean, it certainly takes a big man to understand where he went wrong and try to rectify his mistakes. And I think that's a good aspect of KSI's personality. I'm also checking chat on my phone here. That's a good aspect of KSI's personality that he has. But at the same time, definitely an overreaction. Definitely. But we're probably never going to know what exactly was said, obviously, because it took place in person when Wade would see him. But I wouldn't even call it being two-faced. When Wade was looking for a job in the first Social Gloves, Fuzi, the man he was trying to get a job from, asked if he could box. Wade just openly said to Fuzi Face that he was not a good boxer despite trying to get a job. Yeah, so again, he strikes me as an honest dude, man. But we're never going to know what was actually said, unfortunately, in this situation. Switched up behind the scenes. Yeah, no. He's very open with his past, too. I saw in one of his videos, he said he had a past he had a career that he wanted to pursue in wrestling. Like actually, professional wrestling, WWE type stuff, and that didn't pan out. And then he's had other YouTube channels that didn't pan out. So yeah, I mean, it could be that. I think there's also a difference between being like switching up and just being cool with everyone, and that is a line you have to ride. You kind of have to. You can't be a people pleaser, because I feel as though by definition, when people pleasing, you're gonna have to switch up at some point. Does that make any sense, guys? I mean, I hope. Hold on, let me put this to just talking. I hope that makes sense what I'm saying, right? Because you're giving everyone exactly what they want, and so at some point, if there's a conflict of interest between two people, but I do think that there is another way to do so, and that is just being a genuine person. And so I really can't go against Wade. Major L for KSI regardless. Dude also compared to Kavos, who also does nothing but just report on the news. Also, Kavos is pretty slimy, dude. He's such a I don't like Kavos at all. He's one of those guys that predicates his content around negativity. I don't like dudes like that. They like report on the news, but it's like, oh, I hope this guy loses his platform. Like that's Kavos would say that about KSI. Kavos would be like, I hope he loses. I hate KSI. I hope he loses his platform. It's like hate veiled under commentary, which I've been accused of before on the whatchamacallit video, the Salt Poppy video. Pull up some of the comments on that, because I got some block on that video, man. But I just want to link those people that thought I was hating in that video to Kavos' video, because that's real hate. Like this is the hate that I've been getting on this video. You guys let me know what kind of fight Salt Poppy. Yeah, yeah, JJ Volumes, but there's like the actual like decent people that are just commenting what they think, and then of course there's like, you better try fighting Salt Poppy, for sure you'll be knocked out. I've been training for like 3 weeks, so I think so. I think he needs to work on his right hand power. Mayweather coming. You can try Dynamite Salt Punch Poppy, then you know what you're talking. I don't know what that means. Kind of surprised there was no mention of Poppy's footwork. That's true. I did not mention, so I try to make the adjustment next video. The guys KSI take risk. You know too much about Salt Poppy. Why don't you fight him? I'll bet Salt Poppy knock you out. Fight him. No, this guy doesn't hate Salt. Blah blah blah. Try to fight. So you see like all these different comments, and I just think that there's a difference between that and what Kavos does, where Kavos is just like, I guess it's almost a little bit. What's it like on the ratio on that vid? I haven't even checked, dude. Let me see. That was one of my better vids. It certainly blew up. Like that's my most widespread vids. It's at 15K right now. 9%. So I got 219 likes to 20 dislikes. Very healthy like to dislike ratio. And I don't think I was hating in that video. I really don't. I don't. I feel like I was. And you guys, honestly, you could be honest. Just let me know if it seemed like I was hating that. But I don't know if you guys have seen that or you joined the channel later than that. But I gave it a look. I gave it a watch back, and I really don't think that I seemed like I was being negative towards Salt Poppy. I like watching him box. I gave him a lot of praise in that video, but I also stated how I thought he could be beat, which is just fair and honest analysis, So, but that goes back to what we were saying. Not everyone's gonna like what you have to say about them. It's kind of one of those situations with KSI, and that's kind of what I'm not on Wade's level. Obviously, I'm not even close to where Wade is, but that's what you're gonna have to deal with when you talk about this type of stuff. Everyone wants you to go out and fight. Wow, Salt Poppy video coming back up in views, but yeah, not everyone's gonna always like what you have to say. That's just the plain and simple of what goes on. That's the nature of the game. So, yeah, I mean, sorry. You can't please everyone. And I think a really good indication of how genuine Wade is as a person and as a content creator is that he pisses off the people that are closest to him. Like if he had been fake, we probably would have never had this problem with KSI to begin with. You know, Jake Paul came out, he tweeted, we could pull this up. I know I saw it earlier. He said, I don't like what Wade says, but that's because he's such an honest dude. Such insecure clown. Wade is quality. Plays it down the middle. Yeah, look, I'll show you guys the tweet. Such insecure clowns. Wade is quality. Plays it down the middle. Says things about me I don't like, but that just means he's keeping his opinions real. Now back to my vacation. And Jake hits the nail on the head with that one. Obviously. That's what makes Wade real. Kavos comes in. Sure, the context of a close friend or family member rather than a boxing commentator giving boxing opinions isn't lost on you, but I guess you're still trying to justify last night. I don't even know what that means. Yeah. Why did Plenty of Fish, the dating app, respond fishy? See, that's the thing. Wow. Wade's actually a huge-ass dude. Pause. Wade's a big boy. What? That's a thick boy. And he's... How tall is KSI? If Jake has a hair strand for every time Wade made fun of Jake's hair, he wouldn't be... Yeah. That's what I'm saying, dude. And the same way, you got to be... if someone were to come out and make a video about my stuff where they said they didn't like what, or I get comments on these videos all the time like, bro, I wish you would have done this, bro, I wish you would have done that. It's just an adjustment. It's someone's opinion, right? You got to have confidence in what you do. And I don't know, JJ seems like a supremely confident guy. So I don't know. It's weird. It was a weird thing from him. Maybe he's stressed. Maybe he has a lot going on. 5'11", that's KSI. So Wade's got to be like 6'3", but based off of this photo, and he's in shape too. Jeez, I know a lot of people are calling for Wade to get in the ring. I would watch. I'm going to be hopefully competing MMA next year, early next year. Would definitely want to cover some of my sparring sessions for you guys. Is that something that you'd be interested in? Can you guys let me know down in the chat what types of content I haven't done yet that you guys would want to see? Because I want to diversify a little bit, but I also want to make sure that you guys are getting the stuff that you want to see. Because it seems like everyone likes the analysis the best. When I go through and I talk about fights as they're going on, those have been my best performing videos. Some people also enjoy my general thoughts on the space and where it should go. But what do you guys, like, if you could have, I mean, you do have the chance right now to say what other type of content you want, what would it be? Like a podcast? Would you guys listen to a podcast with me? I know it's like, it's kind of tough to listen to someone you don't really know for an hour and a half. But I have a buddy of mine in the space that's actually really, really good at what he does as well. We did a test episode, and we were thinking about firing up a combat sports podcast for the channel. But yeah, please do let me know what you'd want to see down in those in the chat right now, because I'm super duper interested. Have you ever given predictions on the first round of Kingpin yet? Plan to make a video on? I could make a video on that. I'd have to see. Let's check who the first round of Kingpin is now. Kingpin tournament first round. See, I'd have to get a little bit more well versed with the content creators that I'd be covering. But I could definitely do a video on that. That's easy. Yeah. I mean, it would take a while, but I mean, it would have to be like one of those record at the beginning of the week and then edit it through. So we've got the quarterfinals. Anisson, Gibb, Oss, McBroom, Jarvis, Tom Zanetti, my mate Nate, King Kenny. Actually, you know what? I do know some of these guys. And there'd be a mystery fighter versus going against Winderson. I could definitely that's for sure a video. If you guys want to see that, I'll tee that up. I'll tee that up for sure. Runner-up bracket. Semifinal. Okay. Yeah, that's a confusing bracket for sure. So the quarterfinal winners from each go into there, and then the losers face each other, but they don't have a chance to get the runner-up bracket. How does this work, though? See, now I'm confused. So the winner, both of the all four. There's winner, 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 and then they go there, right? But then the losers go down here. But then they don't. The losers don't have a chance to get into that number 5. So it's all seeded. Okay, all right. Yeah, that's definitely that's something we can make happen for sure. Absolutely. I thought this was what's his name for a second? The dude from Baywatch. What's his name? Looked a lot like Zac Efron. That was Zac Efron for sure. Put this back to just talking. Hair's all messy today. What else? What else would you guys want to see? I'm working on hopefully getting in perhaps Dylan Dennis's trainer in for an interview, talking about why he pulled out of the fight with KSI. I thought that would be very interesting, or even just Dylan Dennis himself, to get him in for an interview would be awesome. Because from what I've heard, I know guys that train with him. He seems like it's all pretty much for the cameras. I don't know, maybe he wouldn't want me spoiling his personality on camera or him playing up his role, but I think he's a very nice guy in person. So I was thinking about hopefully trying to spin one with him. But talking about what we were talking about with Wade, I have made 2 videos airing my disapproval of what's his name? Dylan Dennis. The real problem with Dylan Dennis fighting KSI, and Dylan Dennis should be ashamed. But if I do get the chance to interview him, just be open and honest about it. Be like, listen, I made these 2 videos. Now we're here to interview. We need to get the full story. What's going on? That's what being real is. You know, I would do an interview with him. I wouldn't try to hide anything. I wouldn't try to be fake. That would be an awesome interview to get. Just because he's such a polarizing figure, not only in influencer boxing, but also in MMA. MMA is kind of where he started his polarizing ways. Yeah. So, I mean, it's... I'm always trying to just innovate and get better with the thumbnails, with the content, with all that stuff, man. With my boxing, I'm training to hopefully I'm gonna face Wade for the influencer commentator / boxing YouTuber heavyweight championship of the world. I feel like Wade's got hands. Wade and I would break each other down in the pre-fight. We'd make videos why the other person wouldn't win. That would be our build up to the fight. No, I think Wade. I hope I get to meet Wade one day. He seems like a good dude. Seems like a very honest and nice fellow. How long have we been streaming for here? 50 minutes. Wow. What else can we react to? Do you guys want to hear me talk about any UFC stuff? Do you guys like the UFC stuff I make? Or the MMA stuff I make? You can be honest. It doesn't perform nearly as well as the YouTuber boxing stuff. I get that. YouTuber boxing stuff is always a little bit more compelling. But I got a large video coming out at the end of the week. It's gonna be... Sorry about that loud noise. I'm sure it made. But I'm gonna be making a large video where it's like 20 minutes, much less edited, just kind of giving a Dan Hardy style breakdown of the main event for UFC this weekend, which is Corey Sandhagen versus Chito Vera, which is gonna be a lot of fun. A lot of fun to watch. So I want to start doing those. Maybe I'll do those for some of the YouTube boxing matches. Just giving 15 to 20 minute dive in, get really granular with all of my commentary and critiques type of videos. I think that would be cool. But again, you guys let me know what you want to see, man. I'm down for whatever. Got that coming up. Who's on the next Misfits card? Is that coming up anytime soon? I think that's in April, right? Misfits boxing. Let's see. April 21st. I'll pull up the... Oops. So it's in NOLA. Justin Minks, Fangs, Chris Avila, Paul Bamba, Minkon versus Jake the Viking, Sharks versus Mitchell, so that's Wally Sharks, Demore versus Knight, Slice June. Is that Kimbo Slice's son? Someone in the comments said deadest event yet. Oh, it's dude. That's awesome. Thank you, Probable Balloons. I'm background noise. Let's go. That's the biggest. I feel like a lot of people would want you to like watch them on screen, but for me, being background noise, I only save that for like my favorite. You know what I mean? It's like the content creators I enjoy the most. I'll keep on in the background when I'm like gaming or something like that. So that's a big. I appreciate the compliment, my man. But this is the deadest event yet. I'm still gonna watch and I'll probably most likely enjoy it. But this card is hella dead. I hope it's free like the last event. All these bums on here and I can't get this shit. Lol. Wooty fook. Never the same without Wade, KSI. So this is kind of like, this is the tough part. Is that JMX versus Le'Veon Bell is legitimately the only marketable fight on this. And again, maybe I'm not too plugged in with the rest of who these people are, but I mean, you take a look at that, man. It kind of just JMX versus Le'Veon Bell. Maybe I'll do a breakdown video on that too. But that's the next Misfits event. Misfits Series 006. They should do I wouldn't mind if Misfits did kind of what boxing or MMA does, where they have, I know they've done a couple of free cards, but they keep the larger scale talent to the larger cards. It's again though, it's just tough because it's so front loaded. Justin Minks might not even make it with her current issues. What's going on with this? Justin Minks, tough thing to deal with. Let's see. What are her current issues? Twitch partner. She's a Twitch streamer. Justa Minks. Let's see. Headlines over the last few months regarding vicious varying of her house getting broken into, being drugged during a night out with friends, and even costing Cutie Cinderella after party shut down. So she's just been arguing with her family and getting streams shut down. Cause streamer party afterwards party to becoming intoxicated. Is she an alcoholic? Major alcohol problems? That's tough. Well, if there's anything that'll set you straight, it's intensive exercise and the discipline that martial arts provide. So I hope that she gets better. I hope she can right her ship. But if she can make it to fight night, dude, this might be the genesis of a new. I mean, I know a lot of guys, like even Alex Pereira, the guy that's or Alex Pereira, as they say, or they would say in Brazil, the current middleweight champion in the UFC, was a huge alcoholic before he started getting into kickboxing, and then all these years later, he's at the pinnacle of the sport. So, but my prayers go out to Justin Minks. It's unfortunate. It's an unfortunate thing to grapple with. My family, or at least my birth family, had trouble with that because I'm adopted. I was brought over. So it's in my blood. I don't drink personally. That's why I just don't want to touch the stuff. So it's a vacuum. It can get you, man. It can get you. Instead, I'm obsessed with bettering myself at any cost. No, dude, but I find like, for instance, if I don't go into training, it bothers me. So I know I have a very obsessive personality. I obsess about editing and making sure everything's perfect. I just know that if I had a drop of alcohol, I'd probably obsess over that too. So I abstain. Not saying that there's anything wrong with people that do drink, because if you want to socialize, that's the best way to do it. But that's not the best way. I mean, it's the most common way, I should say. It's the most common way for people to gather together. But I personally, god damn, excuse me, gassy. I personally just don't partake. So, yeah. I mean, my support, my shout outs go to Justin Minks. Is there anything else we wanted to cover today? Is there anything you guys wanted me to talk about? My two big things. Wait, hold on. I have my list that I wanted to go over. Let's see if because I got to go back to editing the video that's supposed to come out tomorrow. I got so much I got to do today still. Leon versus Makachev, Dana White. Oh, Dana White planning on starting a boxing promotion. That should be pretty interesting. Says he wants to launch it in the next 2 to 3 years. So I have no idea what that would look like. But he already failed once. It was supposed to be Zuffa Boxing or Zuffa Boxing. Already didn't have the most success with that. And so now he's trying to launch into the space again. I just think that boxing as a whole is being saved in a big way by influencer. That's why, so many pro boxers give the scene that we're a part of shit, where it's like, oh yeah, it's not legit. But it's really a huge reason as to why boxing is popped. And if you could argue that it's pretty much the only reason, besides obviously, Ryan Garcia and those guys and Tyson Fury, boxing needs all the help it can get right now. And any new innovative ideas, any new innovative things brought to the scene, I think is just such a huge W. Because I like watching boxing. You really need compelling personalities. And I feel like that's what influencer boxing has done so well. It's brought in those insane personalities into the mix. And now they're starting to catch up in the boxing department. Like, you guys remember when there was the first sparring session between, what was the fight that kind of like, I guess you could say the fight that galvanized the scene was like KSI and Logan, or you could say KSI and Joe Weller. The technicality wasn't the same as it is now. You look at a Misfits boxing match and it looks like a professional boxing match. Just the personalities are like way more marketable. It's the one thing that boxing needed. Boxing heads were against Ryan Garcia simply having, let alone influencer boxing. Yeah, dude. I think a lot of them don't get it. That's why UFC has been so good, or so, it's kind of swallowed up boxing. Boxers need to weaponize social media more. Absolutely. UFC is really good at marketing their athletes, creating compelling storylines. That's all what it's about, man. Sure, fighting is about fighting, right? In the most purest sense, in the most purest form, fighting is fighting. And all that matters is when you step in, at least on the physical side. For the athletes, all that matters is when you step in, boom, you're in there and you're competing. But to bring in fans, that kind of marketability needs to be there. Those storylines need to be there. So, yeah, I just think, and especially if Dana White, head of the UFC, say what you want about how much he pays fighters, but that man knows how to build up fights. So if he's working on a boxing promotion, I'm down for it. I'm here for it. So, I guess, was there anything that you guys wanted me to go over before we wrapped it for today? I think a tight hour is what we're at, right? Yeah. Wow. Down to 30 seconds. Anything else you guys wanted me to cover? Last closing thoughts. I was thinking about making these just an hour real quick. That way people that tune in after the fact, they don't have to sit through 2 hours of me just sitting in front of a camera talking to myself. But is there anything else that you guys would like me to go over? I got to get a better overlay going for the next one, I think. This is a little bit too just plain. And it looks like the heavenly light is just coming down from beside me there. You know what I mean? But do let me know, guys. Do let me know if you want to see anything before I skedaddle. I will be working. Do you want to see a behind-the-scenes vlog of me working? I'm working an event the 1st of April. And if you guys want to see some really good fights, the promotion I work for is called RFC. Very good RFC Promotions. It's out of New York. They have their upcoming event, RFC 6, Cage of Fire. I'm going to be doing commentary there. I'm going to be interviewing the fighters. I've done a couple of build-up interviews. So if you guys want to check out a good night of fights, I'm sure they'd be happy with me plugging their stuff on here. But it's good. They've got a mixture of MMA. It's going to be, I don't know if there's going to be any Muay Thai bouts that night, but it's going to be mostly Dutch kickboxing or kickboxing, professional kickboxing, and a few MMA bouts in there. So, is there anything else? You guys, maybe I could do like a behind the scenes or like a corner. Maybe, you know what I want to do is I want to set up a camera that's on me while I'm commentating, and then put in the sound behind that. I think that'd be dope. But there's nothing else. I'm gonna skedaddle and get back to work for today. Yeah, I think that's sometimes the chat takes a second to update, but what it seems like, we're good. All right, guys. Well, that's been the stream for this Wednesday. I want to make this a regular occurrence moving forward. I think same time is good, and it feels good, feels natural, just streaming like this, being able to talk to you guys in person, see your opinions, your takes. Of course, I love you guys for early adopting this channel. It's super duper. Nothing comes to mind. All right, yeah. So we'll skedaddle. So I appreciate you guys early adopting. I do again have that merch shop. And if you guys would like to pick anything up, I make all the designs myself, and I've said it. Thank you so much, Unpoppable Balloons. We didn't get taken down this time, baby. We managed to skate the YouTube algorithm. But yeah, if you guys want to pick up anything, I don't make a profit off of it. I set it so that I don't. Actually, let me go real quick before I do get out of here. Let me go to the merch store. I've done a little bit of press for it. Yes, we didn't get taken down. Do I go through Teespring? I do. And then I have the other Streamlabs merch. Just hang on a second, guys. Or StreamYard. Oh no, Streamlabs. So I have a ton of different. My store. I want to get to my store. Stores. View store. All right, give me a second here, fellas. So I got 2 different stores, and you can get all of these. I just want to stress the fact that I do not make any money off of these designs. I think if anything, Teespring makes you get like a 60. I put it down to the lowest thing, so I get like 30 cents off of every purchase, but I want to make it as affordable as possible. So here's one of them. You get the usual gloves up logo and everything. You can put it on whatever you want. I have the totally legal streaming service, which is a little inside joke Unpoppable Balloons that we have going. I thought that was super duper dope. And then the influencer boxing Olympics, or Olympic influencer boxing shirts. And I want to make more stuff. I think I just had a stroke there for a second. Yeah, so it does come through. Yeah, I want to make more stuff, but that's it for this. And then go to store here. I also have, for my other stuff, which is just my, the podcast I do called The Jacob Cooperman Show, I have a ton of different designs, which I've made that you guys can check out with my other projects. That's Spreading the Floor. It's an old basketball podcast I used to do. So, yeah, guys, do check it out if you'd like. And, without further ado, that's been the stream for today, guys. Thank you so much. And I appreciate the ongoing support. I'll see you. Should have a video up tomorrow. So just talking about Jarvis and my thoughts on the situation. All right, guys.